This is a very interesting, unusual piece of furniture, English furniture, from the George II period, around about 1740 in date. And it's not exactly easy to give it a title. Most pieces of furniture you can give it a title, be it Pembroke table or naval chair or whatever. We've got a descriptive term for it. There's no obvious, simple, descriptive name for this table. I've called it a Georgian captain's table, but actually it's much more than that. So let's have a look at it and describe some of the attributes to it, and I'll tell you why I think that it's likely that it was made for a naval captain in the Georgian period. The attributes that push our thoughts towards that. So we can see that we've got a nice long section to the middle. We've got a cupboard at this end. It's on casters, so we turn it around. We've also got a cupboard at this end. The handles on the cupboard are set to the middle, so you can use them to pull it around easily, move it nice and easily on its casters. That also fits in with it being a piece of naval furniture. If this was in a ship's cabin, captain's cabin, you'd expect it to be in a relatively large cabin, so probably the commander of the ship. There would still be cannon in that cabin, and so you'd have to move furniture quickly to clear the decks, get the guns into action. Having the handles and the wheels would aid you in doing that. So it could be used as a table. You've got these two big flaps to the sides which lift up, and the lopers that support them are a little bit unusual as well. So if we pull them out, you've got quite a long loper which extends there on a ring pull handle. I'll do the other side while we're here. And then it's hinged to turn 90 degrees to support the top. Let's just do the other one on the other side. We'll lift up this flap, do this one, and finally this one. So with both flaps open, you've got a reasonable sized dining table, but also it would be very practical for a ship's captain to put charts and maps on to have a look at, but also he could do that with just one flap down. So there's the loper turned on its hinge again, pushed in to keep it nice and tidy and away, and still with one flap up you've got a reasonable sized working surface or table. So onto the cupboards with these lovely handles, pull handles to them, and these are all engraved to the back of a plate as well, as is the escutcheon. Let's just get the key from the other side, because obviously you've got to have a cupboard doors locked in order to use the handles to pull them around. So that opens fully on these hinges to over 180 degrees. So that door is completely out of the way, so we've got lots of clear access to the interior. We've got a shelf which is adjustable to numerous positions, almost too many positions. I have no idea why you would want a shelf up this high or this low, but you've got the option to do that. So one of these cupboards to each end, so lots of great storage space in there. But this cupboard and table has also got more uses. It's multi-purpose. If we pull out this section here, we have got an area where you can write. Now it's based. I would imagine this red base has probably been replaced at some stage, but you can sit on a chair here, you can work, writing your letters or your notes, or perhaps doing some drawings, or even reading if you wish. So that's very useful to that side. Tucks away nice and easily on these ring pull handles. Some of these ring pull handles, actually the rings are probably replaced, they're slightly different shape. Let's put this flap down. You've got to just pull it out a little bit further than it was. You've got a notch here which just slides past the knuckle hinge at the top. So that goes in there like that. Make sure we do it right on the other side now. That's in. The flap down. You can use the handles to turn this. And on this side we have got a drawer which is fitted with dividers. You would have an inkwell to each side there. You could put pens and instruments into this little section here, and also to this section here, and you've got a nice large area you can put your papers. But while we've got it out, let's just have a look at the quality of these dividers. Now, this is an area not often seen. Most such dividers are just a straight piece of wood. They've really gone to quite a lot of effort to shape the edge of this wood on all of the dividers, the middle section there as well. Hopefully you can see that nice and easily. So there's your desk tidy area as well. So we've got a multi-purpose piece of furniture. Now that certainly ties in with furniture which has been made for travel and for Navy use. And don't forget, at this period, 1740, in the history of British campaign furniture, that's a good early date, a really early date. We don't often get many pieces of travel furniture, Georgian travel furniture, which are nice and early like this. So they're still trying to work out the best way to do things. They don't have set ideas yet on the most practical methods of making a piece of furniture for travel. So very interesting from that point of view. Now I think I'm just going to take the camera off the tripod and zoom in a little bit for you, because I think there's some detail which really you need to see. So let's have a look at these handles first of all. So there you can see the engraving to it. That's really nicely done. And it's got stops to it so you don't squash your fingers lifting and pulling. The escutcheon plate also nicely engraved. Now if we look at this gilt carving to the edge of a tabletop, which is a lovely detail by the way, and also around the edge of the cupboard doors, and also to the top of a plinth base with a bracket foot. This is egg and dart, and this form of decoration is typical of the designer William Kent. He was a very influential designer at the time in the Georgian period, George II period, and this is another good indication of its date and points towards that designer. So nice bit of detail to it as well. I mean, to take the trouble to actually carve the edges of the table top, the leaves, and that's all the way round as well, really is a nice bit of detail. So we open up the drawer, there you can really see the shape of it. The loopers, I'm not going to lift the flap, but they're hinged to turn there. So quite an unusual form of loper, but really very practical for holding the table. So let's just zoom out a little bit. let's sum it up. We're pretty sure that this is a naval piece of furniture. Would have been made for a captain who would have had some wealth, you know, to afford a piece of furniture like this in 1740. You had some money behind you. So the size of it would also indicate that he was probably the commander of a ship, a captain of a ship, because he would need the space to house it. Multi-purpose with the cupboards to the central pedestal, the table flaps that come up that could also be used not only for dining but for looking at maps and charts, and the writing area to the other side that opens up for you to do your writing or reading. So it's George II in the manner of William Kent, English, made of mahogany, Cuban mahogany, and round about 1740 in date.